Okay, this is the last video on your axial skeleton, and we're going to just talk really quickly. It's one page about your ribs. It's also actually your bony thorax is your ribs and your sternum. And it forms a big cage, of course, to protect all your major organs. There'll be a picture of that in a minute. If you want, you can go ahead and fill in this picture right here before we even talk about the sternum or the ribs. So you're looking at, so let's see, some noise in the background there, that's right. This is your sternum. It's made of 3 bones. Actually, this one right here is not a bone, it's just cartilage. So you have the manubrium, and you have the body of your sternum. So this is a separate bone than this, and then this is called your xiphoid process. It's hard to feel. Let's see, what else? The clavicular notch, not the clavicular, the jugular notch. The clavicular, you can kind of feel that. That's where your clavicle connects. You can find your clavicle and connects. It's kind of a notch right here, and then your jugular notch is right in the middle. And that's actually, if you hold the top of your sternum, that's actually where your thoracic vertebrae are, the 3rd thoracic vertebra. So it's pretty high. Your thoracic vertebrae start pretty high in your neck. Okay, so in terms of ribs, you have 12 ribs, 12 pairs of ribs, and we'll go through that in a second. You have true ribs, or 7, and they're called true because every single one of them has their own attachment to the sternum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one, the 7th one, attaches here. The bottom 5 are called false ribs, and that's because if you look, 1, 2, 3, and then this one, 4, and this one, 5, either have an indirect attachment to the sternum, like here, where they attach to the attachment to the 7th, or they have no attachment. And then these last 2 of the 5, these last 2 are called floating ribs because they don't have any attachment to the sternum. Intercostal spaces, this is where you have muscles that between the vertebrae that aid in breathing, so they contract along with your diaphragm when you breathe in. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. Your bony thorax, 3 parts. Your sternum, your ribs, and your thoracic vertebra are part of your cage, your bony thorax. Your sternum, of course, has, this is manubrium. Manubrium, the body, and the xiphoid process. That's your sternum. And it's attached to the first 7 pairs of ribs, or rather the ribs are attached to the sternum. Okay, there are sort of 3 landmarks: the jugular notch, which is at the top, the sternal angles between the manubrium and the body, and the xiphisternal joint, which is right, basically you can squish it, you can feel your xiphoid process. You can feel that xiphisternal joint if you press on the base of your sternum. Another interesting anecdotal thing is that your sternum is a cool place to collect hematopoietic tissue. Right? If you have they're analyzing you if you have some kind of blood disease, and they need to get some of that tissue from your red bone marrow, that's like where they'll stick the needle right in your sternum. Ugh. Okay, so your ribs, 12 pairs. The true ribs are the first 7. And they attach directly. False ribs are the next 5. All of them floating ribs are included in that. They either attach indirectly, or in the case of the floating ribs, they don't attach at all. Intercostal space is the space between the ribs, and it's filled with muscles. Okay, so we got one more picture. So this is sternum, and then down here you have this big picture. This is also in your book, just to show how your heart is protected by your thorax and your ribs on the side, and here's your sternum in the front, so it's right in front of your heart. Your diaphragm right here. Your aorta comes out here. Kind of cool. A perfect casing for your heart. So just fill that in, and that's it for the axial skeleton. All right. See ya soon. Goodbye.